A very warm welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned in Smart 24 TV, where we drive your business. My name is Anthony Sebali, and I am your host. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Smart 24 TV and get us feedback there. You can also visit our YouTube channel at Smart 24 TV and get to the comment section. We'll definitely get those responses at the end of the show. Today we are talking sustainable, inclusive, and smart urban ecosystem, how we can coexist and how we can plan better for the future as we see increase in number of people living, especially in the urban centers. Just giving Kampala as a case study, but many other urban centers have grown and their populations are seemingly not going to come to an end in terms of growth, and that means, of course, better planning and a more sustainable future as well should be put into account as we plan. Now, Doctor, we've shared at least about what we should expect when we talk about the smart ecosystem. But what do you think is government's role and these other bodies that we have in place? We have so many bodies that plan for our cities, starting from local government to the different boards. There's so many, and one of them has one of the things that has actually come out is the fact that there's some sort of disconnection between what they actually communicate with each other. So how can we harmonize? How can we have all these bodies working together and strategize for a better plan towards a smart city? It's taking Kampala as a case study, but we can even look outside Kampala for that matter.
That is not something very easy. It's quite interesting that in the theme or topic for today, there was a word inclusiveness. And inclusiveness means that everyone should be involved. You put like people in a basket. It means everybody should be involved. And we can look at it in so many different perspectives. Who should be involved at what level, at what stage? Because what you are asking about is, for example, at the end of the day, the inclusiveness to me is supposed to start at institutional level. If I go into KCCA, is it possible, or do all departments fully work together? Do they jerry together to ensure that they are offering the people what they are supposed to offer? Or each department operates like a small kingdom, small kingdom, small kingdom, small kingdom? If we go to at central government level, is there, like, I don't know what to call it, that brings all these key stakeholders together?
A platform.
Is there a platform that brings these people together as far as planning, development, discussions even is concerned? I believe currently that platform is not there. That platform is not there in KCCA to find that KCCA is working together with the Buganda Land Board to solve land problems, to address land issues. And we need to create that platform. We need to create a platform like now we are talking about the city expanding the way it is expanding, but it is no longer Kampala City. It is Kampala City together with Chira Municipality. It is Kampala City Makinde Sabagabo. It is Kampala City Nansana Municipality. It is Kampala City, you take Kasangati route, and so on and so forth. So, but are these authorities, for example, working together to know that this is Greater Kampala and it belongs to all of us? That platform is not there. And we need such a platform for us to move forward towards what we are calling indeed a smart. If you talk about, for example, smart, efficient urban governance, It's not about technologies, governance, that you are using, smartphones, information is coming when you are not working together within the institution or a group of institutions that are sharing, boundaries. Yes.
Oh, interesting, Doctor. Mr. Vincent Agaba, what would be your opinion on the harmonization of different government institutions in as far as planning for our cities is concerned?
No, Anthony, as the doctor said, my view would be that I think we need an investment mindset. The day we realize that organizing a city is an investment, then that's the day we will also realize that actually, when you are trying to do a business, you sit down and think of a small business plan, if you like, and make sure that that business plan at the end of the day gives a certain return at the end. Let me put it in context. If you look at, for example, a few institutions that play a big role in making sure that cities are set up, of course you have the local authorities, an equivalent of KCCA. You have the utility service providers. Let us say the UMEME, the National Water. Yeah? Then let us talk about the other enablers. The tax collection. You have the URA. Yeah, you have the property rates. That's now local authority again, and so forth. Then you have, of course, now, all these institutions I have just mentioned, of course to mention but a few, when a city develops, they are all making money. When National Water extends water into a neighborhood, actually, that's a market for them. Because every neighborhood that is opened and National Water extends water there, it is a new market for them to sell their water. Although subsidized by government, but they need that money to keep capitalizing themselves. UMEME and electricity, they don't bring that power for free. They bring it there and you pay for it. Of course, UNRWA is here also. When they bring a road there. Now, what happens is when you open up a city and all these institutions are at play at the same time, for government, now they can come, URA, and pick rental income tax. They can pick. Remember, businesses are going to develop in that area. KCCA will pick trading licenses. URA will pick other, income tax from the businesses and so forth. Now, what does that mean? That when we organize a city together, we are creating an avenue for revenue generation for the country. So it means all the state agencies, as long as they see that Kampala is a source of revenue for government, and therefore we must make Kampala work to ensure that the government generates that income to expand public services and probably reduce the debt ratio that the country is burdened with. That day, that's when we'll sit and organize well. If we don't do that, what is happening? The cost of traffic jam on human productivity today, is it an incentive to revenue generation for the country or a disincentive? We should ask ourselves that question. If we allow jam, people who are supposed to work 8 hours in a day, and practically they are working 5 because 3 are lost in traveling in the morning and the evening. Is that impacting our revenue generation at the end of the day, which URA collects? And at the end of the year, we sit in parliament and have to allocate budget. The moment we start thinking like that, then we are looking at it that we are actually investing by providing quality and efficient services that will make our country become rich. So that's why I'm saying that as long as that mindset of organizing a city is not seen as an investment for the country to generate resource to be financially independent, then people don't care. So why should we have a road being constructed today and National Water comes and cuts it tomorrow to pass a pipe of water? Didn't UNRWA, for example, communicate to National Water that we are going to pass here a road, and therefore, who goes first? In the meantime, you are there working, then a telecom company comes, you have put pavers, they dig them out because they have to pass a cable.
Yes.
Didn't we know?
Yes.
Yes.
My friend Agawa is taking me back where we started from. That I think all these things, at the end of the day, we'll have to rotate around smart people, smart mindsets. That capacity to detect that we cannot solve a problem unless if we work together. This problem is a type of problem which must be solved by KCCA together with NAS and a municipality. Without the two working together, you will never solve that problem. We need that mindset.
And managing losses. Because when the other one invests money and puts an infrastructure and you come and dig it out, do you refund that money?
Sometimes I doubt that. But yes.
Investment mindset. Because public service, we tend to think it is not a business. And I think that's where we go wrong. Public service is a business. Because to sustain it, you must have revenue generation. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you depend on donor funding and grants. And those come with the conditions.
Which are going to be cut now.
Yes. There's a book I was reading, Vincent, I think about 3 years ago, about urban governance and management. I cannot recall the author. But that book was talking about the fact that the day, like the way you are talking, the day urban authorities, local governments detect that local authorities must be run like business enterprises is the day we shall be able to start seeing changes as far as our cities are concerned.
Dr. Derek, in Kampala recently, just a few weeks ago, there's been pressure, a lot of pressure on KCCA leaders. And this is after, of course, a certain phase where they say now they're starting to enroll for a smart city, Kampala, to turn Kampala into a smart city. And explaining the plan to make Kampala smarter, Mrs. Chisaka Dorothy, who is the executive director of Kampala City, Capital City Authority, highlighted that there are challenges and opportunities that come at the end of the day for the modern city to come to life. And she said that the smart city is not just a phrase, and I'm quoting her, and it's saying it's an operation strategy for mobilizing residents and all stakeholders to champion the development of the city of our dreams. He said that to fast track the idea, the cabinet last year embraced the project and instructed the National Planning Authority through the Ministry of Finance and officials from KCCA to develop a 7 trillion 5-year strategy. All right, and this plan was officially launched in September 2020 by former Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda. And according to KCCA, by 2025, Kampala will be an inclusive, resilient, and well-planned city that provides economic opportunities. And as I speak right now, in 2022, just last year, NPA issued at least an approval certificate with an adjusted cost from 7 trillion to 10.37 trillion for 5 years. That is the annual average of about 2.1 trillion every year is going to be spent. Do you think we are ready for this? Because when I see the plans, they are quite ambitious, yes? And when you look at some of the things that they are looking at, there are 5 themes they have put in place. One has been quality, ensuring quality of life. Another one has been economic growth, and then building city resilience, and then city governance, and citizen engagements, which are related to some of the things you mentioned. But do you think, like you said, we're not going to have things like we construct and then we have to break down and then we have to, change the plan. What do you think should be done first, especially before now we go into financing some of these big projects in Kampala?
I think number one, I think as she said, we would be mobilizing the city residents to know what is this all about? Because I think it was last year we were asking ourselves questions. We prepare physical development plans, and we say, for example, here this is a residential area, but we never come out strongly to find out exactly who is going to put up these houses, who is going to put up this road, who is going to develop this recreation area. The plan is so nice. So we need to push these things back to the people. We need to mobilize the people. We need to mobilize the business community. We need to mobilize the Vicents to tell them the plan is here. In this plan, this is what you are supposed to do. It's your role to do the following things. And because it is your role, this is the amount of money that has been allocated out of these trillions. Who is going to control that money? How is that money going to be dispersed out to ensure that at the end of the day it is inclusive enough for each and every stakeholder to participate in that development process? To me, I think we need to mobilize the people.
Mobilizing. Well,
not changing their mindset.
Yes.
There are people who know what they are supposed to do. This channel is for the business community. They know. But have we ever presented them a proposal that you, business community, this is what we want you to do as far as this city is concerned, whether it is Kampala, Mbarara, whatever it is.
Wow, very interesting. Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
mobilizing. You come from real estate world and you've interacted with so many real estate gurus in this country. Are people ready to embrace what Dr. Vincent is saying? When we come, Dr. Derek, I keep confusing the two.
No worries. Yes.
But there's the point of view that most people are not willing sometimes to embrace some of these new things because they come at an inconvenience sometimes. For example, a smart city will require, for example, people adapting to new technology sometimes, and then people sometimes don't have access to that. How do you think we are going to do this mobilization, especially for the stakeholders? And the stakeholders I'm talking about people like you who are leaders in the real estate business, but also the common person out there, the market woman who is in this place and they're saying, no, for a smart city, we cannot have a market in this place. How can they prepare themselves?
No, Anthony, for me, before I go to that question, I would like to, of course, I heard what you read up with our EED. For me, what is interesting in this from the business point of view, what is the source of these trillions? Is it an investment by government of Uganda? You know, when we are talking about business, we are talking about own equity. This is my money. If I don't have enough money, I go and borrow. That we call debt. And if there is a well-wisher like a doctor, he adds a grant. Then I have a pool of money. We call it own equity, debt, and grant. So the question is, this money which is going to do that, is it own equity? Is it money without anything from government of Uganda, picked from taxpayers' money? Number one. Number two, is it debt or number three, is it a grant or is it a mix? Now, once you have that clearly, the question is again, if I'm going to invest it in these avenues, I'm investing X trillion. After the investment is done, what am I hoping to get in return? How much trillion? Is that also given to us? You remember I'm talking about the investment mindset?
Yes, yeah. Should be an investment.
If it is a project, probably funded by some institutions, mostly we hear World Bank, this, that, and so forth. The question is, once you have done project A, how do you move to project 2? Are you again to go back and ask for grant? Now, if it is an investment, you are saying we are going to do 10 activities. If it was 5 trillion, we are anticipating to get 7 trillion. Now it becomes an investment. I didn't want to lose that point. And I would wish that we think like that. Because you're trying to switch on certain activities that multiply into a certain revenue chain that other sectors of government like URA comes and picks and puts back in the fund. Then tomorrow when you want to do another project, then you have it. Now, I think when it comes to mobilization, if the stakeholders see that kind of approach, participation becomes easier, in my view. Because they know this investment is coming, it is going to switch on our businesses, and when it switches on our businesses, they are going to thrive, and we shall give what belongs to Caesar, because we know Caesar is going to invest again. Today I have 100,000, tomorrow I can see myself in 10 years having $1 million because of this effort. Now, if that is not clear, I'm telling you, even when you will bring that money and drop it into the people, it will be hard to mobilize them. That is my simple view about this. But I can hear the money, but what is the source? And what is the intended purpose? And what is the return on investment? Because when we wake up in the morning, me and your doctor, and go to work, we are thinking about our child, we are thinking about our grandchild, and we are thinking about our grandchild. So whatever I'm doing today, if I'm a business oriented, I'm thinking about how will it be useful to. But what sometimes you do here, a project is finished, now there is no any other funding, and therefore it is stopped. But that the previous project, what did it achieve in order to invest in the next? Now, for the business community to approach it, which you asked me about, if you don't have that kind of explanation,
they won't give you attention.
They won't give you attention.
Yeah.
Because for us, every day when we wake up to go to our offices, it is expenses versus income. But you can't say, I got money, and we don't know where you got it from. And number two, you're saying, we have come to mobilize you to do, then we don't even know how much will come out. People will just be busy with surviving. So in my view, these projects are good, but let them have an investment approach, return on investment. Otherwise, it is very hard to explain to the people where this money came from, what is intended to do, and how will it come back, and how will it move to the next project. I don't know if that's you, but that's what I think.
Yeah, very right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very right.
Absolutely.
So we have, for example, the Uganda National Urban Forum, where we belong, me and Doctor. I know, you know this Youth Mid project, which was under the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. This Uganda National Urban Forum and its platforms, the Municipal Development Forums, the City Development Forum, they played a huge role in making sure that the compensations were low for the land where the roads were going to pass. Why? Because they went down to the people in those locations, in the municipality, and told them, please give your land because we're going to bring a road. And when someone sees and says, okay, I'm operating here, but if this road passes, my land will appreciate. People are willing to say, okay, instead of compensating me, no, just take it 3 feet. And this happened, isn't it, Doctor?
Yes, yes.
Because people were able to see the value of sacrificing their land for the road to come and how that road translates into their livelihoods. In my view, that approach works. But if people do not see how they thrive through this project, and maybe it is there, but if it's not explained well in terms of numbers and value appreciation, that is a business language that is needed.
Well, Mr. Vincent, yes. We want to take a short break, but when you look at, for example, some of the strategies we've had the Kampala KCCA put in place, especially we've seen them very active with the vendors on the roads, for example. And the vendors keep saying one thing, why you're pushing us, they're no clients, all right? Yes. And you're saying, yes, you've constructed this very nice building, but when we go there, our businesses are going to die. At the end of the day, it's going to be a hungry man in a very full store because no one is buying these things. Now, same thing with this ecosystem that we are trying to design. Do you think there's going to be the same kind of mindset when it comes to us moving to a smart city, where people are going to still say, yes, you're showing us all these good things about the city, but there's nothing, there's no business, like you're saying, for us. How can we build the city and still have the economic benefits coming to the Ugandans? How can we still build this city and return that investment, get that return on investment? How can we still make it sustainable in that we don't have to keep feeding in money and getting out nothing? Because we've seen so many projects that have come and gone, and still we are still financing those projects. Okay, I can just give an example of the express highway. Yeah, we're still putting a lot of money in there, despite the fact that it's called the most expensive road. We would expect it to be the biggest, having the biggest return, but that's not happening. So how can we strategize and have this smart city and the ecosystem that we are trying to come up with get to suit the Ugandan needs? Because many people trust me. The first question they will ask is what you said exactly. Where am I benefiting? Where is my business benefiting from this? So when we return, we would like to actually get some bit of that, and the benefits especially that can come with this, and the role of technology as well, and if we are ready to embrace the journey as Ugandans. My name is Anthony. I'm still talking to Dr. Derek and Mr. Vincent, and we are talking a sustainable, inclusive and smart ecosystem. We'll return briefly. Stay with us.
Interesting.